A very good morning to you and welcome to Signature Morning. My name is Godwin Sunday and we are broadcasting live from Nigerian's political capital. The Independence Day celebration of Nigeria might have come and gone, but the celebration will never cease because a lot of things that made up yesterday, especially from the president's speech, and one of those is the speech around the youth development and empowerment of the Nigerian youth. How has the reception been so far? Are the Nigerian youth happy? Are they excited about the news by Mr. President? Well, joining me to help put some of the issues in perspective this morning is the program lead Center for Democratic Governance and African Youth Growth Foundation, the person of Juan Anosike. You're welcome to Signature Morning, Juan.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, so let's look at this Nigerian what the president said. But first, let me even say Happy Independence Day to you this morning.
Same to you too.
So how did you celebrate first?
I was literally at home enjoying myself and getting comfortable with the new system we have put in place.
All right. So, but looking at the generality of the speech, how will you assess the speech in general? You think it's a welcome development for Nigeria at this point? Looking at what the president read to us yesterday.
Of course, I would say it's a welcome one for Nigeria, especially for the youth, because we've been clamoring for the inclusiveness of the youth in the government system. So I would say the speech was a good signal to offer a better country, for a better Nigeria. Yes.
Well, it's a good signal for a better Nigerian. But looking at the rate at which we are right now, a lot of persons felt disappointed with the fact that the president ought to have addressed certain issues, even though it was not clearly spelled out, especially the issue of fuel and price of other crude commodities. One would have expected the way he said subsidies gone. Would have expected to see that fuel prices has been reversed back to normal. But looking at all of that, was there any part of the speech that you were disappointed with?
Not really. If you're talking about the great assets we have in this country, which is the crude oil export, you would realize that it has created a lot of vulnerabilities in the country. And because it is our greatest asset, there's nothing one can do about it. As it comes, we take it the way it is and then adjust to the new normal. So I would say I was expecting that as a youth because of the current price of the crude oil and price of petrol now, you would realize that mostly everything in the economic sector has increased. They've skyrocketed already. So it's affecting everyone in the country. So that would have been my mindset. But him talking about further going into having like a conference with the youth whereby he gets to meet the youth, talk and interact with this youth, gave me a mindset of, oh, we are going to progress from here because we'll be able to air the level of issues or facts that we are facing as youth currently in the country. So I don't think I was surprised by anything at all. But I also thanked the fact that he expressed further way to progress in the system. So it's fine.
Oh, all right. Now, speaking of this statement by the president on youth, the comfort, the 30 days meeting with Nigerian youth, looking at the structure of the Nigerian youth, don't you think at this point that even such a meeting with Nigerian youth, especially when he said leaders, people are arguing that it will be tilted along political line. But don't you think at this point there should be some form of a better strategy in getting the youth involved than having them for 30 days? So what's your general take on the modalities, the way it's going to be implemented?
Funny enough, personally, the system or the government has made promises in this country that has never been met. So coming with this new one of having a 30-day conference with the youths, especially with the youth leaders, I would say that's the only way we can actually get through to the youths all over the world, because trying to assemble most of these youths, it's going to be really difficult. But when we have a voice there, I think they would be able to carry us along. So moving forward, I would say that the 30 days conference is a good one, but I think we should follow through we should continue. The government should be able to engage the youths as much as they can. We don't want promises that where a situation whereby a youth comes to air whatever thing they need to state in a conference and then it dies off there. There are a lot of things happening in this country, especially as it has affected the youth. So if that forum is created, we expect the government to take it, like taking it the bull by the horn. Taking the bull by the horn. We shouldn't expect a situation whereby at the end of the day, it will all be that we are coming to state the facts happening to these persons, and then the government are just relaxing, and whatever that happens, we keep going in cycles. So I would encourage that. Actually, as a youth, I would encourage that. But as we, the youths, as we have seen how it is for us in this country, it's better for us to air our opinions, state it the way it is, so that we can know where the government can come in at this point.
Where the government can come in. But then, we're looking at also another angle to this story. People will say that the government is trying to get the youth involved, but then there was a confab prior to this time that we don't even know the outcome. Do you think there will be light at the end of the tunnel, even at this particular one, knowing fully well that most times the Nigerian government put up this as a show, but then we don't get implementations? Do you think that the Nigerian youth can bank on this promise that after 30 days they will get a positive feedback? Honestly,
I won't vouch for what the credibility of the government in this area. But I would say, let's keep trying. Let's keep trying. You never can tell. Because, like I said, there have been a lot of promises, a lot of this similar situation, which had posed itself as like a show-off. And it has never yielded any fruit to anybody, most especially the youth of this country. But I would encourage that we keep trying, we keep pushing, we keep speaking our mind, airing our own opinions, so that at the end of the day, we never can tell if a result can come. I can't tell, but when we keep trying, we are hoping for a positive change at the end of the day. So I'm hoping that this period and at this time, and from the president's speech, we are able to get something fruitful from the conference.
All right, so we are all being positive that should we get something positive from this whole. But then there's a tweak to this conversation most times. Said a lot of Nigerian youth are lazy in the sense that Nigerian youth cannot step out to take certain responsibilities. Even the ones that have been given assigned roles to, they've disappointed their peers in that light. You're coming from a growth development network foundation. Tell us, how will you assess the strength and the potential of Nigerian youth as it stands right now, especially in the light of the president's speech?
For me, personally, there is nothing like lazy Nigerian youths. There are no youths that are lazy. I'm a youth, I'm working, and if given the opportunity, I will do more. So as same out there. So tagging the youth of this country lazy, it's quite offensive, because we are the persons who have actually gone to school. We've gone to school, we've faced all rigorous process in attaining or getting professional certificates, and then when we come out looking for jobs, there are no jobs, and then you call us Nigerian youths. It's quite very offensive, and it sounds like we actually started off well and we are ending bad. So for me, I would say that the youth only needs opportunity, because I feel it's only opportunity that differentiates us. You know, it's not like just giving anybody any position you feel like that person, because we're in a country where there are lots of corruptions. We are not giving fair chance. We are not giving fair opportunities. Most of us applying for same positions may not get it, even if we are very qualified. But because of, having to give your brother or your sister, which you're already in the system, sometimes does not really make that person so qualified to handle such position. So I would say there's nothing like lazy Nigerian youth. It's for us to have that fair opportunities to showcase whatever skills we've attained or whatever skills we've gotten prior before application. So I would say that the country is seeing the youth in a very bad light, because most of these youths, they are the ones feeding their parents. They are going out there struggling. Some of them are farmers. Some of them are what they call it, some of them have their handworks which they explore, which they do, which earns them money. Some of them even go as far as putting their junior ones in school and training them. So most of these youths, you can actually express the fact that they are not lazy, they are trying, but when given fair chance they will do more. The most important thing is meeting the right people to work with, so that you can get a positive mindset towards youth, because there are people who are actually not qualified, some youths who are actually not qualified, but because of the corruption and the system in this country, they tend to youth towards that same direction, leaving others apart, leaving others left behind. So I would also advise that the government should try and create job opportunities, fair job opportunities, because a lot of youths are roaming about. You see some men, some women in their 30s, they don't have equal distribution of the wealth which we possess in this country. There are no opportunities at all. The housing sector is in a total, I can't even express it. To get a home where one can live, it's a different thing entirely. So there are a lot of issues in this country that we need to tackle for youths, because you can't say we should just fold our hands, listen to the government, and we'll call it the order of the day and move. No, a lot of things are happening. A lot of things are getting bad and sour. So let's try as much as possible to involve this youth. And that was why I said initially that the conference which the president has actually spoken of is a welcomed one, because at that stage, at that level, youth will be able to pour or air out whatever intentions or whatever crisis or fact that they are facing in their lives. Relatively, they can express it to the president, and from there the president ought to maybe set a team, a committee, who would eventually see to it to the end that they implement something that would bring results to the country.
There's this rhetoric that politicians have always used, that we'll get back to you on this issue. We will find a way around it, and we'll see to it to a logical conclusion. And this is the case right now, where the president will say that he has heard us loud and clear. But then 60% of Nigerian population still youths that form 60% of our Nigerian economy and population. But then we've not yet seen the kind of level of development that we desire to see as a nation. So one begin to ask, is this the fault of the politicians or the fault of the Nigerian youth not pushing enough in order to showcase Nigerian in a positive light? Because what I'm saying, asking this, is because people want to see, people say Nigerian youth are not lazy, but Nigerian economy seems retrogressing. It's retrogressive by the day. So I was saying at this point that the Nigerian youth, outside opportunities, looking at it, Nigerian is still where it is. Can we blame this on the youth or leadership, or where should we throw this blame game to?
How far can we go, or to what extent can the youth go to protest or clamor for what they want, the change they want? I mean, the social media is in this current stage of our lives where everybody goes out to air their opinion. If you go on social media, you will see one or two persons coming to say, oh, I've been suffering from this, oh, I was promised this, oh, I've been working so hard, and nothing has been coming out. The system is bad. The system is bad, and that's why I think there are no changes in any sector at all.
But we've not seen the Nigerian youths come up with probably industries and try to push it out on the social media. Rather, the narratives on the social media has become like a gossip, a gist parlor, where people get criticized, people get bullied, and people get entertained on that space. But then we've not seen practical demonstrations. So that's what I'm asking. In terms of industrialization of Nigeria, which we are trying to meet up with other of our counterparts across the world. Looking at all of this narrative, do you think that the Nigerian youth are doing enough in terms of showcasing, putting Nigerian in the map of the world?
Of course, they are trying. Go to other countries. You will see the Nigerian youths progressing. They are doing so well, because I think they are struggling to make a name for themselves. They're struggling to put us out there. But here at home, it is very difficult for us, because everybody is a man for himself. In this country, the youths have strived. In fact, whenever we are lacking in our government system, you would see them protesting for bad governance because they want a better Nigeria. Most of these JAPA cases is because of the issues we have in this country. A lot of issues. So you would not sit down, fold your hands and watch the governments manipulate you, use you, make promises without meeting to them. That's why they travel out, even if it's doing menial jobs, for them to stay alive, for them to survive, for them to send money back home. It's a lot on the youth. So they've been trying, they've been pushing, they've even come out to say, oh, I'm vying for this post. I want to be in this position, either in the House of Representatives or in the National House. So I don't understand why in this country, why we cannot have a fair chance as youths. I think there should even be a law whereby, or even embedded in the constitution, that certain percent of youths from ages to this should come out for this position. Do you understand? Not making it too difficult for them, knowing their background, knowing where they start from and the rest of it. So I would think and I would say, and I'm in full knowledge that the youth are striving well. They are trying to push forward. They are trying to make it happen. They are trying for a better Nigeria.
The way you said it makes it look as though they're working and nobody's saying it.
Nobody's
Because
saying
we're
it,
trying to
actually.
look at it in terms of trying to measure performance with the Nigerian economy. We are where we are right now as a people. So if the youth, like you rightly said, are doing enough, it should reflect also in the economy. But then the economy, we're still among the world, let me not use the word on air, but it's alleged that we are among the world poorest nation. And you said the Nigerian youth are doing enough. Looking at using growth statistics, which your organization is a growth foundation, use all of those indices to measure a Nigerian youth in terms of what we do and what we've showcased out there in terms of our tax structure, in terms of our economic policy. Are we getting something right? If yes, why is it not reflecting on the Nigerian economy?
For that, I don't know, but I could say that the youths are trying. They are striving so hard. In the economic sector, for the economic growth, the youths are making it possible for them to be there and for them to place Nigeria where Nigeria ought to be in the first place. Because Nigeria is so blessed. Nigeria is blessed with a lot of natural resources. So the youth coming out to help do some certain tasks, they are there already. Look at the fintech. Most of them are actually youths. You're talking about agriculture-based youths. I know a lot of youths who own farms, poultries, talking about crops, cash crops, and the rest of it. A lot of youths are probably doing a lot, but no one is seeing them. And even when they want to be seen, they are not given fair opportunities.
That's quite interesting. So let's come back to the president's speech on this 30 days. What do you hope to see at the end of this conference? Do you think that there will be like a communique or like a blueprint that can champion a new cause for Nigerian youth? But let me hear from you. What do you think in general? What are your expectations from this 30 days conference?
I think, like I said, it's a welcome one. And I wish that during the period of this conference, if it will be implemented at the end of the day, I would hope that we see to it that the presidents, the committee, whoever that will be handling such 30 days conference would come in good interaction with the youths on the ground level. And at the end of the day, let's do like a follow-up system so that it doesn't be a one-off thing. It doesn't be a one-off conference. It doesn't be a one-off initiative. It should be something that will keep reoccurring because time changes, So I would hope that at the end of the day, whatever the youths have presented or have stated, there should be a follow-up to the end to see the results. Let it be glaring that this was done and this was the end point. This was the end product of it. So it should not be a case of they promised, they said during this time, and at the end of the day, nothing happened. Everybody went back to their homes, and everybody is pretending like nothing ever existed. So I would hope and I wish that this conference, which will actually mean a lot to the youth, because the youth are looking for opportunities where their voice will be heard. That's why we are talking about protest. We're talking about a lot of mishap and that all over the country, sometimes through social media awareness and the rest. So I hope that the government takes this very paramount. I hope they take this very serious. I hope they take it very, 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 very pertinent to understand the needs of the youths and put things in place for these youths, because at the end of the day, it is the youths that will be like a measuring factor to whatever governance you have or whatever governance you're coming into in the country.
All right. So now, speaking of the expectations from this particular conference, which you rightly stated, most people say, or most people would rather say that the committee which the president has promised to set up, that will constitute and coordinate the outcome of this conference, 30 days youth conference, although they've not been mentioned. But over time, we've had a situation where a lot of elderly people coordinate these committees. And I'm asking right now, do you think that if we have the same scenario where more elderly people coordinate the committee, do you think that the outcome will be different?
Yes, I think the outcome will be different, but like you said, more elderly. So I think the outcome will be different, because if I'm to constitute such committee, I would actually do a mix-up of the youths and the elderly so that there will be a balance, because we cannot dispute the fact that these are persons, the elderly, these are persons who are experienced, who are more experienced than the youths that will be involved. So, and I think they would be in the better position, in the best position to handle certain things, especially in this kind of very sensitive situation with the youths, because most youths are already at the verge of giving up or making it look worse for the country. So I think with the mindset of the elderly in the committee briefings, meetings, or whatever, I think that will go a long way in harnessing and organizing for a better result at the end of the day.
So even though most of the elderlies right now don't understand fintech, most of them don't understand cryptocurrencies, most of them don't understand how to mine, because of the mining space, so we get to do baby pie, you get to do ego, and the last one, Amster Master, Monster, is it Monster?
Monster.
And what have you? Most of the elderly people don't know how to do tap. So
Yeah.
they don't tap. It's
Yes.
most youths that tap.
Yes.
And all of that, most of the elderly people don't understand the tech jargons and the tech languages. So bringing them on, if we have a majority of them on the panel and the committee, and they want certain things, and the Nigerian youth want certain things, do you think that we'll be able to align at any point in terms of our ideology? Losing the Gen Zs, using the millennials, using the we're not coming from an agrarian age right now. We're coming from an information age. Do you think that if we bring in people from the agrarian perspective to form the committee, would the result be different? Will the output be the same thing Nigerian youth have been advocating and anticipating as it stands right now?
Like I said, I would actually clamor for a mixed, because having the elderly and the youth would go a long way in bringing good results. I would ask that not just the elderly, but let there be a mix-up somehow. And then at the end of the day, these elderly ones, they have youths at home, and I'm very sure they have heard one or two from your examples which you have given. So they already know certain facts that exist already, even if they can't do it. That's why I'm saying at the end of the day, when forming that committee, there should be a mix-up, because at some point they will come in places of maybe disagreements, little minor issues, not necessarily handling other tech activities. Do you understand? They would say, oh, okay, since you guys are clamoring for this, since the youth are stating this, okay, let's go by this way. This is how it should be, not necessarily involving themselves on the use of these fintech activities, which they are not experienced in already. So I would say that the committee should be a mix-up of the youths and the elderly.
Well, just in case you're just joining us, this is the Signature Morning, and I'm talking to Jane Anosike. She's the lead program for Democratic Governance, African Youth Growth Foundations. So, let's talk about African democracy, especially as it involves the youth. We will say to a very large extent that the youth are doing enough. But looking at some of the outcome of the general election across Africa, using Senegal, that we have a youth president right now, a young person that is a president, using other African countries right now, Kenya and the rest of them, Uganda, that they're trying to evolve to a very pragmatic kind of leadership. Do you think that in general, Africa, are we getting something right democratically, or we're still missing it? If we are still missing it, what's the missing link for us as a people?
That question is so broad. It has a lot in it. We are missing it actually, for me personally, and in my own opinion, and from the view of things, knowing that I'm a citizen, a full citizen of this country. I think we are on the wrong track on this area. Everything is opportunities. And I think our biggest issue is the constitution, actually. The constitution. Because I see no reason why we'll have a government coming in. And after the governments finish stating their manifestos and the rest of it, and at the end of the day, in ruling, you are not complying with what you have promised your own citizen. And you still come out to still be elected for the next 4 years. I think the constitution is not doing us good on that part. But that aside, we should know for a fact that Nigeria is not getting it. If you're a citizen of this country, and if you've done a comparison of other countries, and you want the change you desire in this country, you would state the obvious truth that Nigeria is where it is because of a lot of corruption. A lot of corruption. A lot of people bribing their way in, which is not supposed to be the case. Having a fair chance, giving it a chance whereby the most qualified occupies that seat is very paramount to a growing and developing country. So at this point, this country, we are not getting it right. That's the truth. Let's be very, very honest. A lot of things which should even be a priority in this country are not harnessed. They are not even looked into. The education system, we're talking about accessibility, quality of education, is nowhere to be found in this country. Or is it the economic sector, the fluctuations in prices of the petrol, or is it a lot of health sector, infrastructures? A lot of things are going south in this country, and we have tried to adjust to the system that says, let's just adjust to the new normal, let's relax. You don't have to wait for the government to do all these things. Do it by yourself. We understand we are supposed to do it by ourselves. Obviously, we will not wait for the government to come and feed us or to do the necessary things we need as a necessity in our lives. No, we are not waiting for that, but there should be a sort of accountability at the end of the day. We should have these meetings, we should have these conferences whereby we would project the need of the citizens in this country, which includes quality education. I mean, go to schools. Do we even have quality education? Do we even have quality teachers at this point? And even as students, can they even access education now? A lot of students are on the streets. And that's why most of these NGOs, they come in to fill up that gap. Like Africa Youth Growth Foundation, where I work, we actually launched a project called Bloom. where we spoke about having to take away 2 million
All right.
from the
I've been
streets.
signaled right now that we need to go for a short break right now. We'll go for this break, and when we come back, the show continues in a moment. Please go nowhere.
I am pleased to announce the gathering of a national youth conference. This conference will be a platform to address the diverse challenges and opportunities confronting our young people, who constitute more than 60% of our population. It will provoke meaningful dialogue and empower our young people to participate actively in nation building by ensuring that their voices are heard in shaping the policies that impact their lives. We are creating a pathway for a brighter tomorrow. The 30-day conference will unite young people nationwide to collaboratively develop solutions to issues such as education, employment, innovation, security, and social justice. Through this compact, it will be our job as leaders to ensure that their aspirations are at the heart of the conference deliberations. The government will thoroughly consider and implement the recommendations and outcomes from this forum as we remain resolute in our mission to build a more inclusive, prosperous, and united Nigeria. Our government is implementing several other youth-centric programs to give our young people an advantage in rapid changing world. We have also enthusiastically implemented the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, which provides cheap loans to our students to pursue their tertiary educational dream. In addition, later this month, we shall launch the Renewable Hope Labor Employment and Empowerment, the LEAP. It is conceived as a comprehensive suite of interventions and job creation by Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment that is aimed at facilitating the creation of 2.5 million jobs directly and indirectly on an annual incremental basis, while simultaneously ensuring the welfare and safety of workers across the country.
You're welcome back to Signature Morning. And Jade, if you listen to the president's speech, it sounds very robust again. The speech sounds very promising. And Nigerians are already curious to know if there is some form of time frame. Do you think that there will be a time frame for implementation, or this policy by the president in terms of conference to bring Nigerian youth for 30 days? When we finish the 30 days, let's look at the implementation so far. Do you think that it will be implemented? And if yes, do you think that the president should be given a time to examine if he has actually done what he said he would do, or this will become like another political rhetorics by politicians just to talk to satisfy the curiosity of Nigeria? But what do you make of this generality of this speech right now?
It's a promising one, so I would expect the government to take it very serious for their own good, because at the end of the day, whatever they say, there must be accountability to it. So whatever they do, they should try and make it possible that it becomes visible at the end of the day. Let us see that the promises which our president has stated would actually come to pass, and then it would yield fruits. And from time to time, let's keep doing something like this. At the end of the day, let's keep doing it, because that will be like a check and balance system for the 30 days conference that he has promised the youth.
So we shouldn't give the president a time frame after the policy, after the 30 days of conference?
Of course, we should give him a time
so
frame.
So what's the time frame like? What should the time frame be?
30 days, let's start work. Let's kick it off immediately, as soon as possible.
Because the committee will still have to revert to the president,
yeah.
and they have to come back again and sit and work out modalities and structures, how it's going to be. If I need to have a special ministry, department, and agency that will be in charge of implementation. But looking at all of this, should there be a time frame? Because I think the challenge we're having in terms of implementation across board has always been time frame. But if you want to give the president a time frame, what will it be? What will it be?
We can say this October. We can say even before December. Let's put things in place.
And it's not too sudden.
Too sudden. There are a lot of things that have been too sudden in this country, and a lot of promises here and there, a lot of presidents buying this, getting this. So if those things can be sudden, this one too can be sudden for the youth. So the process the government to put in place to actualize this is still the time frame which has to be embedded in. Because going back, reverting back to persons or the committee, coming back to the youth is still the process. So it's still embedded in the time frame. So I think time frame should be given, it should be accorded to this type of project or this type of initiative, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of announcements, there are a lot of things that the government have done out there that they were not hesitant to do. So I think this should be a priority which they should work on.
And you're giving them just a space of 3 months?
Yes, they should do something.
A 3 months child
it.
would not have started working.
But it has started something, like there have been a progress somewhere, somehow.
All right, Joanne, just as a follow-up to that particular question, we have a situation where a lot of youths, as at yesterday, were saying that the timing for the president's speech and this conference for the youth is almost late. Do you share that optimism, or do you agree with that statement?
Oh, if it's not that they are waking up from their bed, if it's not that it's their morning, then it's fine. We can still start off something. I mean, we have our children coming up, and even if we don't get to enjoy whatever fruit it bears at the end of the day, we have our generation which will come and partake in it. So we are not being selfish. It's not late in the day for them to, to start something. It's not late at all. For me personally, that's my opinion. At any point they feel like, oh, it's their morning, so far they are ready and eager to implement the necessary results which will keep everyone in this country happy, then it's all good. It's fine.
So for you, it's better late than never.
It's better late than never.
Oh, you're watching Signature Morning. Let's take a break and bring you views of Nigerians from the streets, what they have to say.
Our leaders should know that they gave them the opportunity to be there. God gave them that opportunity to be there, for them to have the heart of the masses at heart. But, as they enter there, nothing is working. But they should do something and know that people are dying every day with high blood pressure and the rest. A cup of a mudu of garri now is how much? A mudu of rice, how much? We that is in Abuja here, we know how it is to us. Now talk of those in the mood areas, all these villages and the rest. So they should do something and put the country in order.
As long as I'm concerned, there is not anything like independence in Nigeria, to be honest. Because I don't see anybody celebrating. Even in my WhatsApp status, I see people posting, but this year, no. Seriously. Because we don't have government in Nigeria. And I don't feel like we are independent. And I feel like we should just go back to colonial era. Let the whites rule us. It's better than the people ruling us now. It's better for us. Because you are living in Nigeria also, so you know what is happening. I don't have to explain. Everybody is feeling it. Today is worse than yesterday, and I don't expect anything good tomorrow, except miracle.
Nigeria at 64, I don't see anything to celebrate. It is a disappointment because a man of 64 in Nigeria, the way Nigeria is shouldn't be proud of himself. At least a man of 64 should be close to a grandfather. So we are even not like a toddler, talk more of a grandfather. So it's very, very appalling. You don't need to go and scat and destroy somebody's shop or go out, move to the National Assembly, stand there and protest. They are the people we are paying them with our taxpayers' money, so they should serve us, not serve in their pockets. The president is telling us that they are giving honors to, what do you call it now, to the vice president. Is that what we should be hearing on Independence Day? That's not what we should be hearing on Independence Day. On Independence Day, we should hear, is it that he's now aware that fuel is more than, in fact, in the East, fuel is almost 2,000. Is it that he's now aware? In Abuja here, when you go downtown, you're buying fuel 1.5. Yesterday, I bought fuel to fuel my generator. It's 1.5. The barber close to me cannot work again because of the cost of fuel.
We don't have any economic in Nigeria now. We don't have any policy about economic. We just have somebody who is ruling without any plan. He's just ruling on how he will get benefits. And government is not about getting profit. It's about serving the people. But we have somebody who's just looking for how you can get profit, not serving the people.
Our advice to the president to just please, even if it is work, like to help us, that is the Nigerian youth, give us jobs so that we know that maybe the Nigeria will be better tomorrow, as they say.
I don't feel like there is something to celebrate. We are not happy in this country. So everything, the price of everything has gone up, even the price of transportation, price of fuel also. So we are not happy in this country. What I'm thinking is that the president should revert the petroleum subsidy, one, and there should be price regulation, price of commodity, they should regulate it.
Forget about this clothes I'm putting on. I've not eaten this morning. Fuel is very, very expensive. And we all know in this country, there is one thing that if it goes high, everything will go high. That's fuel. Fuel price is high. You can see back then, 2015, 2014, 2013, celebrating independence, you see everywhere we choke, everybody will be happy. You see everybody, going everywhere, going out, people taking their families out for, for some enjoyment. But you can see the streets today. We don't even know anything is happening in the country, and we are celebrating the country. So it's really, really sad. It's really sad. I don't even know. If they ask me, I will say we don't have independence because we are like a slave in our country.
Compared to the previous Nigeria, so far, this is the worst Nigeria I've ever seen in my life since I was born. This is the worst of Nigeria. So imagine during Baba that just left, Baba Buhari, how much do we buy rice then? We said it's too much. Now, the lowest Nigeria rice now is around 90,000. The lowest. We have of Nigeria rice of over 100,000 in the market. Not talking of the foreign one. So, in fact, don't let us talk much about that. This is the worst of Nigeria so far.
Well, it's interesting how Nigerians are reacting to issues across the country, especially as we are celebrating our 64th independence anniversary. But let me bring it back to you, Joanne Anosiki. Look at all of these narratives by Nigerians across the board. Do you think at this point that we should keep hope alive in this country, just like what you've seen out there?
Of course, we should keep hope alive, very much alive, because at the end of the day, we keep hoping for better days. And they say change is the only constant thing in life. So one day, Nigeria will be great again, and we'll get to experience all the things we've been protesting, clamoring for, good governance, I know that keeping hope alive will not fail us someday. So let's be hopeful out there.
But even as we keep hope alive, a lot of people will say that this has become a normal rhetoric. Every now and then we say, let's keep hope alive. When is the hope actually going to come alive?
It comes when it comes. Definitely, because there is nothing we can do at this point. We keep striving, we keep bringing in our A game from our respective angles, our places of work, the opportunities we're given, you know. So I think let's just keep moving forward and have a positive mindset that one day things will come through for us in this country.
I read a post online and they said that the Independence Day should have been postponed. They should have postponed the Independence Day celebration. But then I think you have a contrary opinion to that. Should we begin to postpone the Independence celebration due to the fact that we have not been able to meet up certain things? So what's your general take?
So if you postpone the date, what will happen? What will be the different case? Situation is very critical. It's not about posting it till whenever Nigeria becomes good or great again. Rather, let's keep celebrating, praying for Nigeria and hoping for better days ahead.
I don't know if you've been to a religious center. I don't know which, are you of the Christian proclivity?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you've been to the church before and you see lately pastors raise prayer points for Nigerians. Even for Nigeria, even in the mosque. Have you seen the reactions of Nigerians lately when it has to do with prayer for Nigeria?
I'm a Catholic, so we have this prayer, we pray for Nigerians, and everybody join in
and it's
unison.
very loud, it's loud
It's
lately.
very loud,
You
yes.
loud and pray for
very
Nigeria.
Very loud, yeah.
And we've been praying for the
And
country.
we've been praying for
and
the
we can't
country.
stop
And
praying
we'll
for the
keep
country.
praying, exactly.
All right. I hope for everybody in the people watching us right now at home, in their offices, and every part of Nigeria will also join us in this prayer, because I think people are beginning to get fed up with prayers right now. That's what led to the first bad governance protests, because a lot of people said they were fed up with prayers, which we cannot, like you rightly said, we can't stop praying because we are religious people as a country. But then again, shouldn't we begin to talk science in this country and begin to put a time frame to when we should be hoping for? John, we should be talking time. Or what do you think about this?
Of course, we should be talking.
But we're not
time.
talking, if the president comes out and say, hey, like interestingly, the president came out during his acceptance speech and gave us a time frame and said instantly, it was a time limit. Subsidy is gone. Fantastic. Shouldn't we be talking at this point about timing also for other implementations?
Of course.
Even
For other implementations, we're supposed to be talking about time. Time brings about accountability, transparency to what you're doing. The president would not sit down to organize this conference, so to speak. But you see the committee has every power to state, from this time to this time, let's get this done. From this time to this time, we'll converge, have this meeting, come back to the public, state this, and then we'll kickstart. So I think the time frame is very, very key in whatever implementations we are taking on. Time frame is key.
Thank you so much for being a part of Signature Morning, John. I want to say thank you so much for finding our time, and just hope that when next we need you around, you'll be available for us.
Of course.
Because we will definitely bring you back to this table to do to monitor the progress being made so far by the committee as soon as the committee is set up. But this is how far we can go this morning. Well, viewer, this is how far we can run this morning. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show. Seems like come your way again, same time, same station tomorrow. Keep enjoying Signature TV. From all of us here in the studio, it's bye for now.